All right, let's try this again. We're on page 11. I had a failed recording a second ago. I finished the first two panels. I've got two more panels, and as you can see, they're going to be pretty simple, especially compared to that middle panel. I was going to tell you the story about Johnny Chang's appearance on the Stevie Weeby show, but I guess we'll save that for another time. But I highly recommend the Stevie Weeby show. It's very funny. Stevie, or Steve, and he really does go by Stevie. That's like even family members call him that. Um, we're going to hide his eyes on this one. Is the younger brother of Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee is a professional Korean American comedian. He used to be on Mad TV. Stevie, or Steve, is not a professional anything. I think he was like a working at Shake Shack for a long time. But like if you had to compare the two, I think a lot of people would agree with me that the funnier guy is Steve by far. And he had Johnny Chang on his little podcast, and it was pretty funny. But I think Steve's best moments are on the Scissor Brothers podcast, which are quite funny. All right. This looks like it's going to be a pretty simple, we hope, pretty simple panel. I'm going to push this line off a little bit just to get a little bit more room. We're going to do a little glow halo. And I'm going to do that with the micro nib. I think that's what made me think of Stevie, one of the jokes he made. But if you want to check out Johnny Chang, there's a really interesting um, well, it's Mark Lyta's Soft White Underbelly. Johnny Chang's on that one, and he has and he also has like an update. So he had kind of a semi-famous appearance on there. Like people wrote in about that one. It's pretty interesting. All right, now, whereas before we're seeing the underside of the hat, now we're seeing the top of the hat. And slightly different. I just want to make sure I didn't put like a patch on the hat at any point. Something like that. So there's the first appearance of the hat. And, well, let's see. Nothing there, nothing there. So it looks to me like there's nothing weird on the hat going on, so I think we can just leave it like it is. How about when he's in his... before he gets exploded. All right. Looking good. I think we can probably, possibly, maybe, ink this part too. Still in the micro nib. Micro nib essay. When I designed this character, one thing I didn't think of that, didn't think through a lot was the profile, but I had to like go back and design a profile for what it looks like for Perseus from the side. With a human character, you know, it's not, there's no question, you know how to draw a head from the side. But and it's a matter of just putting the right features in place. But once we get into these anthropomorphic characters, it's often a matter of figuring out, you know, what would an owl's head look like from the side? And then you start to have to, like, you're going to have to start making decisions like, okay, so he's an owl. Does that mean he can turn his head all the way around? I'm going to say maybe. All right, here's the shield. Let's draw the shield as... There we go. This was a mistake. This is a corner line, so let's make that a little bit thinner. This sort of a lightning bolt pattern is the edge of the wing. The shield's shaped like a wing. And in case you haven't been following the comic, the shield was originally belonged to his aunt Persephone, who was a champion of Athena. And Athena's animal is the owl, of course, which in Greek is called a bubo. If you ever saw Clash of the Titans, there's like a little owl robot, a little Harryhausen animated owl. I don't know if you remember it from the original Clash of the Titans in the 70s. Well, yeah, it was the 70s. It might have been the early 80s. And that character was also called Bubo. They just named the owl Owl. Okay. Now to do an open panel, I've got two choices here. I can actually extend right into the bleed. Three choices, really. I can fake it. I can extend right into the bleed and let it just kind of trail off. Just what I'm kind of doing here. I can go all the way to the trim. Trim is the very edge. Or I can actually just like, see this line I put here? I put a cut line here and a cut line there. You can just cut it off there if you want to. I learned a little bit about it from Fernando Ruiz of the Kubert School. All right. Okay. So this character Alcabets. Anyways, for those of you who are new or just started following, he was originally a member of this other adventuring group. I made a decision. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go straight to the bleed with this. He can be kind of floating too because he's a ghost now. The idea being they were an adventuring group that was, legendary successful adventuring group that made mistakes. They weren't perfect. still want to have a little angry eye there. And some of those mistakes killed off some members of the Retrievers. They were called the Retrievers. Okay, now we got to make sure to put the little energy glow around this guy. So one of the themes is about, generations. There's going to be multiple generations going on. And here I'm introducing a theme. When Alcabet says, "Don't join," you two are not to join the expedition. He says, "With all due respect, I'm buying a sword." The ant was a champion of Athena, but of course Athena's brother was the more. She's a god of war as well as Ares. And I think we would associate Ares more with revenge than Athena. So he's going to have some internal conflict. Also, he failed out of. He was supposed to be learning magic to be like his aunt, and he already failed out of it anyways. So, in a lot of ways, he's not like her. So that's one of the themes that we're going to show. And then what else can we say about what's going on here? Oh, the other one is how other generations are different. So this is Balin right here, was the rat. Balin's father is a knight. He's not a magic user at all. But you haven't met Balin's mother yet, which you will. I think in the next installment is Quixote. Okay. And there's going to be a lot of dramatic stuff about, the last survivor, and one of the reasons they weren't able to complete their final quest is egos and greed got in the way, things like that. And of course, there's survivor's guilt amongst the characters that did live. All right. So let's take a look. We can take away all the pencil now. And I've only got 13 minutes, so we can go ahead and do these bubbles. Let's do that right now. Technical pen. These are all 3 linked. So what I'm doing there is I'm hiding a line inside the panel border. You see it overlays the top of it and it's invisible. But like when I do a flood fill, it'll fill it now. And also, because it's against this panel border, it's going to have a compositional advantage against, for example, this bubble. Well, I could actually push it against the right. Let's do it like that. But I've got to do the flood fill thing, the flood fill trick. Okay. And let's link the two. I'm looking for places where, yeah, it should be fine. Let's do it right here. And then this one too. Oh, there's hints of a previous conflict. Quixote's too old to fight. Now, Quixote is also the reason he's named Quixote is I kind of based him on the idea that he's old, but he's still out there fighting. Like he still thinks of himself as a heroic cavalier. He has not retired. Okay, let's do the tail right there. You want to aim the tails. They don't go all the way to the mouth, but you should aim them at the mouth if you can. All right, let's see if we did this right. There's a good chance I didn't do it right, but let's try it. It did. It worked. Okay, if you got the flood fill correct, then you can erase all the extra lines that fall outside of the panel. All that's good. Anything weird like this, get rid of that. All that's good. Oh, look this. Oh, here's the boys, though. We'll bring in the book, Master. And he's like, I didn't mean you guys. Your mission is to warn Coyote. And we also, you're looking for ways to differentiate the characters. On the next page, I am trying to figure out a way to have Balin go. We should be doing exactly what he said. Like Balin's the more obedient, grounded individual. I mean, he's a wizard. He's also not much of a fighter. But Balin actually has a little power of his own. Okay. Let's see if this one works. It did not. What happened? Oh, stupid. Okay, this is what happened. I drew it on the wrong layer. Get to the bubbles layer. So, back to black. Compositionally, the speech bubbles that have an edge have like an advantage. It's like they're structurally built in. I know I'm on the wrong layer still. All right, let's throw it down. There it goes. All right. Okay, that actually worked. Now let's look for problems. I know I've got a problem right here sticking out. There's a problem right here sticking out. Problem right there. It is what it is. Let's also look for opportunities for contrast. This is going to be real dark. I'm going to make the whole wall back here under one of the tones to make it contrast with these lighter panels. Or maybe I'll make this one darker. And the underside of the hat is shown here, so I can show that there as well. Another thing in the hat, there's like a little cut that's supposed to be right here. Look for these places to show. Oh, there's the... Okay, let's do that too. You may not get to see... I might have to do the tones tomorrow. All right. This is a texture. This is the chainmail texture. The texture delineates the shadow. So I'm, by putting in this chainmail texture, we're showing that the light source is the eerie glow from this character. And we're also got to do these, there's feathers on the shield, or like a feather pattern on the wing shield. And it's a whole chain shirt. So let's do that. Which nib am I on? I'm on the micro nib. Okay. This is how we're doing the feather pattern. And then we can get into the eerie part of the speech bubbles, right? Now we don't want to like you can keep putting in so much detail that it overwhelms the reader, the viewer. And in general, it's not a great idea. However, you can also put in a ton of detail that is useful. So the answer is not to skimp on the detail, but put in enough and simplify. You only have two colors in comics, no matter what anyone says. Those colors are black and white. So texture you're putting in, it's going to read as gray. It's going to read as an extra gray tone. I'm looking at this tunic. I know it splits like this. All right. All right, have we got enough? I think we got a good amount. Let's get back to not the technical pen. Although the technical pen is not a bad choice. The Gasinski ink is really good too. I'm at 24. I'm going to keep going. What we're going to do is we're just going to do the by the way, where am I putting it? It shouldn't be in inky. It should be in bubbles. Again. All right. I was looking at my Kindle the other night, and I was um, thinking it might be easier to use if I had more memory on it. So I'm going to get some SD cards. Apparently, you can get an SD card and just really increase the capabilities or the capacity, the memory of it. And I'm on this is a laptop that I have right now. It's got a like a little docking station that also has a slot for an SD card. So the one I was looking at, which is it's like under $20. It's not much. That adds 256 gigs. I'm like, that's a lot. That's a lot of memory. And it's this little tiny card. I'm like, oh, I'll buy one of those. I'll buy two of those. I'll put one on the Kindle and put one on my laptop. All right. Getting somewhere. I'm looking forward to tonight because I'm going to be doing lots of sketchbooking again. I feel like I'm making a lot of breakthroughs on my sketchbooking. Sketchbooking makes you a better artist. I don't really do finished art. I don't do here's my art piece. Um, I try and do functional things like comic book pages that I will publish, but it's a different story. I mean, that's meant to be finished, obviously. But if it's not a comic page, it goes in the book. This is the Blue Turtle book, which is one of my sketchbooks. I'm very focused on improving. I want to get better and better and better. Ooh, that's got problems. Let's just black it all out. All right. Yeah, and you can see how the contrast is kind of working out. Like that black outline is really, um, it's really tightening the page up. Maybe you don't see it. Maybe you don't agree. That's okay. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I'm not offended. Um, like my goal as a storyteller. I'm a storyteller who makes art. That makes me a comic artist. Is to publish. I want to get my stories out there and hopefully inspire others and entertain. And, I think it's cool when other people suddenly decide to try their hand at comics. Like I'll support anyone who's doing comics, and I know how to publish. If you look at my link tree, which is linktr.ee/9voltcomics, you can see that the anthology that I edit has published 9 volumes. We're about to go to our 10th volume, and of comics, and that is super cool. in itself. One of the other cool things about being a comic maker is I'm also a comic fan. I love reading everybody else's comics. All right. Dang man, we're almost there. All right, so the next video will just be we're going to be doing some screen tones, and talking about the black white balance on the page, like for composition. I'm going to recommend some other YouTube channels to check out if you want to try your hand at comics. Come visit the Adventures in Comics Making Discord. It's just a hangout. It's for fun. And we can share our experience of how to publish with you, if you would like to publish, or if you'd like to get critiques, or even if you just want to hang out, you're welcome to come by. That one is https://discord.gg, and I think the rest of this is KV6KU6K, all caps. All right. Let's widen out some outlines. And there's our page. Starts here. Then we have this page. Then we have this one. I had half a notion to do like there's some perspective lines in here to show the ceiling above his head, because we're kind of looking at him, looking at him from above. But or we could show the floor or the wall behind him. But I think we're okay. I think we've got so much stuff on the page that we're in good shape. And really, it's just going to be a matter of not getting too cluttered with the with our screen tones. All right. Talk to you later.